Defunct German car brands Part 2 Goliath. Goliath was one of the three brands of the Borgward group that exited the market when Borgward went bankrupt in 1961. Whereas the Borgward brand served the upper middle class and luxury class, Goliath was specialized in the lower middle class, which at this time was regarded to comprise cars of the caliber of the Volkswagen Beetle. As mentioned in the previous video, Carl Borgward had split his business into three separate branches after the Second World War in order to profit from more steel attributed to his companies in the terms of economic austerity and scarceness of materials. The history of Goliath had started in 1924 when engineer Carl Friedrich Wilhelm Borgward and businessman Wilhelm Tecklenburg founded a company to produce car radiators. In 1928 they renamed the company to Goliath Werke Borgward and Company to produce Carl F.W. Borgward's own development, the Blitzkarren, the lightning cart. This was a three-wheeled light transport vehicle on bicycle wheels driven by a 2.2 horsepower motorcycle engine without any gearbox, which meant that the engine had to be stopped in order to stop the vehicle, and it had to be restarted in order to start the vehicle. Despite the primitive construction, the vehicle became a success because it could be driven without any driver's license. Borgward continued to develop and sell 3- and 4-wheeled delivery vehicles like the Rapid and Standard, the F200 and F400, the K1, Express, Atlas and Record series, all powered by 1- and 2-cylinder two-stroke motorcycle engines made by ILO until the outbreak of World War II. In the mid-1930s, Goliath also made its first passenger car, the Goliath Pioneer. It was a 3-wheeled car with a 1-cylinder two-stroke motorcycle engine driving the 2 wheels of the rear axle. Its 4-wheeled successors were marketed under the brand of Hansa. After World War II, production of the 3-wheeled delivery cars resumed in 1949 with the Goliath GD 750. Instead of the ILO engines, the new car featured a 2-cylinder two-stroke engine constructed by engineering firm Inca. This short-lived company was established by former DKW engineers who had fled the Soviet zone, hence the very big similarity to DKW constructions. The company was later taken over by Borgward. The GD 750 was able to carry 750 kilograms of load and was available with numerous bodies. To boost sales, a streamlined race car was produced in 1951, which featured an engine tuned to 30 horsepower, giving the thing a top speed of 160 kilometers per hour. On the racetrack of Linas-Montlhéry, the race car broke 38 world records in its class, including reaching an average speed of 155 kilometers per hour over 2 hours. In 1955, the 3-wheeled vehicle received a modernized body and was from now on named Goli. The air-cooled engine had been upgraded from 400 to 500 cc, producing now 16 horsepower. However, it turned out that the engine tended to overheat. Goliath reacted by fitting the water-cooled engine from the 4-wheeled delivery vehicle GV 800 and offering owners to do the conversion for free. However, this engine had with anemic 15 horsepower even less power. This policy ate into the revenue of the business and dented the reputation for the otherwise quite advanced vehicle. Production ceased with a bankruptcy in 1961. In 1950, Goliath presented its first car, the Goliath GP 700. It was initially powered by a water-cooled 700cc two-stroke engine. It was available in 3 body styles, a 2-door sedan, a 3-door station wagon and a convertible. In 1951, a sports coupé appeared based on the GP 700. The engine was fitted with a revolutionary direct fuel injection made by Bosch, an absolute novelty at the time, boosting its output from 25 to 30 horsepower. The first two cars were built by bodymaker Rudi of Delmenhorst. However, this small business had very limited production capacity, so the remaining 25 cars were built by Rometsch in Berlin. Since the cars were handmade, they were excessively expensive. 3 examples have survived to this day, 2 of them in drivable condition. In 1953, the direct fuel injection engine became available for the other body types. It was the first series production car to have this advanced feature. Since the engine was a little bit more powerful, the top speed was increased from 100 to 108 kilometers per hour. Because the oil couldn't be mixed into the fuel, the engine received a fresh oil lubrication system, which consisted of a pump delivering the required amount of oil directly into the intake ducts. In 1955, a 900cc engine was introduced, again as carbureted and direct fuel injected versions. This made the car 120 km per hour fast. Cars with the 900cc engine were recognizable by a chrome strip at the sides. Over time, the body received several minor facelifts. In 1955, small tail fins were added, carrying better visible tail lights. A rain gutter lined the roof. The grille was also modified several times. In 1957, Goliath moved away from the two-stroke engine. Instead, an 1100cc all-aluminum 4-stroke 4-cylinder horizontally opposed, so-called boxer engine, inspired by the Volkswagen Beetle engine, was fitted into the existing body. This required extensive modifications, since the 2-stroke engine was mounted transversely, while the 4-stroke engine was mounted longitudinally. The engine was available with 1 or 2 carburetors, producing 40 or 55 horsepower, respectively. On the outside, the body received only minor changes. However, the interior was completely modernized, featuring a padded dashboard for more passenger safety. The car was now called Goliath GP 1100. The range of body styles was complemented with a 2-door coupé. The convertible, which was produced in minute quantities, was now based on the coupé. The press welcomed the change, writing that the model came quite close to being an ideal car. However, the brand Goliath was associated with 2-stroke engines and small delivery vans, which didn't boost the image of the car and didn't help boost sales either. Therefore, the car was rebranded as Hansa 1100 in 1958 after receiving another facelift with a modified grille and larger tail fins. Production ceased at the end of 1963, more than 1.5 years after Borgward's bankruptcy. This was possible due to overstocking of parts. In 1951, a 4-wheeled light transport vehicle appeared named Goliath GV 800. The first models came with a water-cooled 500cc 2-cylinder 2-stroke engine producing 15 horsepower. Soon after, the engine capacity was increased to 600cc and a power output of 21 horsepower. Cooling problems led to the first facelift, during which the formerly closed front received a grille, giving the vehicle a broad smile. At the same time, the loading capacity was reduced from 800 to 700 kilograms, and the vehicle was renamed Express. In 1955, the 900cc engine from the Goliath GP 900 was fitted. In 1957, the vehicle received the 1100cc 4-cylinder 4-stroke boxer engine of the Goliath GP 1100 car and was renamed once again to Goliath Express 1100. Throughout the production run, The vehicle was available in multiple body versions, as a pickup truck, a flatbed truck, a delivery van, a station wagon, and a luxury bus. Production ended in 1963. Goliath took part in a tender for an off-road vehicle for the newly founded Bundeswehr, the West German post-war army. Their first attempt was the so-called Jagdwagen Typ 31, a vehicle powered by the 900cc water-cooled direct injection two-stroke, two-cylinder engine. By default, the front wheels were driven, the rear wheels could be powered on request. The vehicle didn't meet the expectations. The ground clearance was insufficient, causing the vehicle to get stuck or lose its exhaust in rough terrain. One vehicle had to be towed by its competitor from Auto Union DKW. Therefore, only 15 examples were built for testing purposes. However, all of them remained with the army until they were retired in the early 1970s. The second attempt was a thoroughly improved car, the Jagdwagen Typ 34. It had now the 1100cc four-stroke engine from the Goliath GP 1100. Although the prototype suffered a capital engine failure during the tests, the Bundeswehr ordered 50 vehicles. However, the decision for the competitor by Auto Union DKW had already been made by the Bundeswehr, so the improved Goliath came too late. A few examples of the Type 31 and 34 were also produced for the civil defense. For 1961, Goliath had announced the production of an all-new model with a 1300cc engine. For the first time, Carl F.W. Borgward gave the responsibility for the design into foreign hands. Italian designer Pietro Frua came up with an angular body, and an unmotorized body was produced. However, due to the bankruptcy, the market never saw the finished product, except that the design appeared a few years later at car maker Hans Glas. But this is a story for a later video.